for working professionals in India and abroad. We have a network of more than 5,500 alumni who are working in top organizations across the globe. Now, this is the time to welcome our speakers for today's webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to our first speaker, Dr. 𝗬𝗲 Ramanathan, who works as an Associate Director at Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, New Delhi. Dr. 𝗬𝗲 is a passionate clean energy and sustainability professional with 30+ years of experience working with media, philanthropic institutions, and regulatory bodies in India. During her professional career, she worked with the Maharashtra Electricity Regulatory Commission as a regulatory officer. She has also worked with the newspaper like Business Standard and Mint as an energy journalist. Dr. 𝗬𝗲 was the founder editor of India's first ever integrated B2B energy magazine, The Energy Business. And Dr. 𝗬𝗲 is known as a reformer in the power sector for her work for the Distribution Utilities Forum. Welcome, Dr. 𝗬𝗲, and thanks for joining us today. And the second speaker for today's webinar is Dr. T. Bangar Raju, who is working as a professor in transportation management at the School of Business, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun. Dr. Raju is a mechanical engineer by profession. He holds a master's degree in international business and a PhD degree in transportation management. He has a vast and rich experience in both academia and industry in the area of energy, trade, and transportation. Prior to joining UPES, he worked with corporate giants like Adani and JSW Energy. And Dr. Raju has published more than 2 dozens of papers in top journals indexed in Scopus and ABCD. We are pleased to have you with us, Dr. Raju. Thank you very much for joining us. And our third speaker for today's webinar, ladies and gentlemen, is the in-house faculty expert of CCE, Dr. Naveen Agrawal, who works as an assistant professor of power management at the Center of Continuing Education. Dr. Naveen has completed his BTech in mechanical engineering, MBA in power management, and PhD in energy economics. He has published around 10. He has around 10 years of experience in teaching and corporate. He worked as a consultant in power distribution with a focus on power distribution network, commercial operations, and financial modeling. And in addition to that, he has worked on several power distribution projects, including feeder separation and distribution system and automation. He's published around 5 research papers in the journals of international review. And thanks, Dr. Naveen, for joining us today in this webinar.
Thank you.
And one more information that I would like to share with you all, ladies and gentlemen. This webinar is going live on Zoom as well as on YouTube. And the recording will be available on Facebook and YouTube, Facebook page of CCE and on YouTube. In this webinar, our discussion will revolve around 3 key components. Number 1, the challenges in power sector in India in the context with the challenges across the globe and the strategies to overcome these challenges. And the second one, the skill sets that are in demand in the market to excel in the power sector. And the third one, which is really important, the usefulness of online and distance learning programs for industry professionals from power sector. At the end, we will take questions, but please continue pushing the questions to the chat box. The moment you get those in your brain, and we will consider all of them at the end, or maybe if we get the opportunity, we will try to address them in between. So now, to begin with, I will invite Dr. Naveen with his presentation, short presentation, so that we get some idea about the power sector and the challenges in India and abroad. Dr. Naveen, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Joshi, for this nice introduction. So let me share my presentation here. Hope you all are able to see the PPT.
Yes.
Okay. So the PPT, this topic of this presentation is why is the power sector an attractive option as a career? So here in this presentation, I would like to discuss that what are the developments which are happening in the power sector? What are the opportunities? What kind of companies? What kind of roles in the power sectors? So all that I would like to discuss in this presentation. So power is one of the most important infrastructure element, essential to national well-being and the economic development. So there are four major driving factors which are creating huge opportunities in Indian power sector. So these are growing. So let me just, okay. Okay, yeah. So these are the four factors which are actually creating opportunities in India in the power sector. So these are growing demand, attractive opportunities, policy support, and the last is higher investments. First, growing demand. India is the third largest producer and second largest consumer of electricity worldwide. The installed capacity in India, power generation capacity is around 400 gigawatt as of May 30, 2022. Other than that, growing population along with increasing electrification and per capita usage will also provide further impetus. The power consumption, which is also estimated to reach around 1900 terawatt by in 2022. So next is attractive opportunities. Let's see that what kind of opportunities which are waiting in the Indian power sector. In the last union budget in 2022-2023, the government announced the issuance of sovereign green bonds, as well as conferring infrastructure status to energy storage systems, which also include grid-scale battery systems. In the same budget, around 19,500 crore rupees, which is $2.5 billion, which was allocated to boost manufacturing of high efficiency of solar modules. Now let's see, next see the policy support, that what kind of policy supports are being given by the government. So in that 100% FDI, foreign direct investment, is allowed in the power sector, and which has boosted FDI inflow in the sector. There are a few schemes like 𝗬𝗏𝘃𝗍𝗶 Gram Jyoti Yojana, DDU-GJY, and the schemes like Integrated Power Development Schemes, IPDS, which are also expected to augment electrification across the country. Now, last is the higher investments. As per the National Infrastructure Pipeline 2019-25, energy sector projects accounted around 24% of the total expected capital expenditure, which is around more than 100 lakh crore, or say $1.4 trillion, and that is around 24% share. Let me tell you, between 2000 and March 2022, total FDI inflow in the power sector has reached to around $16 billion. So this is all about that. What are the opportunities which are coming in the power sector? What are the policy supports are being given the government in the power sector? Next is, so now this PPT shows actually the power generation and the growth in the power generation. So this data shows, this PPT clearly shows that there is a steady growth in the power generation in India. If we see the last, this is the last 6 years of data, and if we exclude the financial year 2021, here you can see there is some reduction in the power generation, and that was mainly because of the COVID-19, and because of that there was all the industries and the companies, they were shut down, and because of the lower demand for the electricity. So if we exclude that, there has been around 5% compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of the power generation. So this PPT clearly articulates that there has been a growth in the electricity demand in the country. Next, I would like to discuss that what are the areas in the power sector where the opportunities are waiting. The few areas which I mentioned here, the power distribution, power generation, power transmission, power market or trading, where you can see the few exchanges we have, IEX, Indian Energy Exchange, Power Exchange India Limited. Sustainability, that is also coming in a big way. Clean energy, we already, a lot of talks are happening about the clean energy or say renewable energy. India has the target of 500 gigawatt capacity addition by 2030. Electric mobility or say electric vehicles. So that is also coming in a big way in the sector. So these are the mainly few areas which I mentioned in the power sector. There are some more which we will discuss when we will talk in detail. So these are the few roles which I mentioned in the power sector, like energy consultant, power trading, research analyst. So all these are the roles which one will have in the Indian power sector, or the Indian and the globally as well. Now I would like to see, I'm showing you the few companies which are working in the power sector. These are very few which I have put, obviously because of the limitation and the constraints, but these are in the numbers, very large numbers. The companies like ICF International, which is a very good energy consulting firm. Companies like PwC, Deloitte, which are the big four, all big four, PwC, Deloitte, EY, KPMG, they all have their energy consulting divisions. The companies, the software companies like Accenture, HCL Technologies, Infosys, they all are working in the power sector automation. The companies like Adani Power, Tata Power, they're also into the power operation. We have the Bloomberg New Energy Finance, which is a energy research company. So here I have shown you that what are the opportunities in the power sector, what kind of the capacity, which are the developments in the power sector, what kind of the companies which are in the which kind of companies which are working in the power sector. So that's all about the introduction and the career opportunities in the power sector. So this is from the presentation. So this is I'm stopping, and now over to you, Dr. Joshi.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Naveen. That was a remarkable information. In fact, I would say it is going to be very useful for us in the forthcoming webinar. And there are a few things that I would like to talk about here, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing, we are receiving questions in the question and answer box as well as in the chat box. Thank you so much for asking those questions. We will take up those questions at the end, or maybe whenever the time comes, because those questions are relevant more to the middle or to the later session of the webinar. So we will come to those. Please stay tuned with us. So now this is the time to bring our experts into the discussion. So we will have some questions and some points, in the line of the webinar that we have discussed in the beginning. So currently, we are living in a digital world, as we all know, and where almost everything is governed by digital technology and artificial intelligence. And we would like to understand from you, Dr. Gayatri, that in this age of digital transformation, what are the emerging trends in the renewable and power sector around the world, as well as in India?
Thank you, Dr. Joshi, and thank you to UPES for having me on this panel. I'm really happy to be here and to share with the students and prospective students trends in the sector and what they can look forward to after the course. I am an alumnus. First of all, I'd like to say that in terms of digitization, we were anyway heading in this direction of digitization and AI. But in the post-COVID era, the trend has both sharpened and hastened. It's got fast-tracked. The sheer length and breadth of operations in the Indian power sector practically dictate that digitization of the sector, complete digitization of the sector, is the only way forward. And as we see more and more of renewable sources coming into the grid, the need for digitization increases, digitization and AI help not only in predicting renewable energy generation and ensuring its scheduling and offtake, but also in analyzing and predicting consumer behavior and thereby optimizing the utilization of power generated through not just RE, but all other sources. So this is something that allows us to balance traditional thermal power and RE generation and optimize our sources. As we go forward, the share of RE in the global and Indian power mix is set to increase significantly as we move towards net zero. As you're all aware, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a 2070 net zero target for India with some 2030 milestones. And one of these is that we had announced a 500 gigawatt of renewable energy sources by 2030, which we have now, as of this month, revised to 50% of India's power generation will come from renewable sources by 2030, which gives us a lot of maneuvering space in terms of optimal utilization of our existing sources. Because as you're aware, we won't be able to switch to renewable energy immediately. I mean, we just have 8 more years to go to 2030, and it's going to be very difficult for us to switch to that kind of renewable energy in that short period. So by saying that 50% of our generation will come from there, we are giving ourselves a maneuverability as of now. The net zero targets also throw up other opportunities in related sectors such as energy efficiency, cooling, green hydrogen, and electric vehicles, to just name a few. In each of these sectors, there are government mandates and targets that should see traction from the industry. And in the process, will throw up exciting new opportunities, both for the sector's expansion growth, as well as employment opportunities for prospective students. We would be witnessing greening of many of India's power-intensive industrial sectors as we go forward towards our net zero goals. And as technology progresses, we should see many more and newer trends coming up. I will stop here for now, and over to you, Dr. Joshi. We can expand on these as we go forward.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your response to this question, Dr. Gayatri. So other questions are also coming in line of these questions. And my next question is for Dr. Raju. How power sector in India is going with these emerging trends? And where do you see India as a leader in the power sector in next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Joshi. I have my favorite caption being from UPES. If power is religion, UPES is the Makkah for power learning. So it is the ultimate temple for power management over here, since we have evolved for the last decade in this domain over there. Coming from JSW and Adani, I would like to talk about the dhanda which is going on. Adani is betting on around $120 billion, $130 billion. I think the news is around or there. It's a very big bet coming from coal, coming from the other tradings, what they're doing. I think those numbers really are interesting. You have other corporates, JSW, you have Tata Power, all of them again competing with something close to another $100 billion over there. So those numbers of investments, if you really see, the new, companies like Greenco who are emerging out over there, really these numbers show that there's a huge investment going on, which I think Naveen also has given the numbers which are there, that there is a lot of thing going on the renewable energy, which I think Dr. Gayatri also had mentioned on that. So you have that one part, which is a big thing. Now, what is happening after generation is the distribution part, transmission and distribution part, which is there. Again, those need to be distributed across all the across all the states, and a lot of distributing companies are there, discoms are there. The huge business is going on there. Okay, then you have this once your distribution is there, now you're also looking at electric vehicles, which is there, from the transportation sector, how we go into this market. So if you see this whole transformation from the traditional fossil fuels, what we have been going, thanks to COP 26 or 27, whatever commitments we have. So the whole Indian, the Indian energy scenario is shifting from there to the renewables part, which is there. Where is the opportunity? What we see is the role of private sector. The private sector right now, I think the market share is around 35% odd and on, and government is looking at more investment for the private sector. That definitely gives us an opportunity for the employment out there, not the traditional PSUs employment which are there, but yes, employment for for the youth and all who could plunge into this as a career out there. So that makes a huge, keeping on the vision of the present government, where they don't want to run the business, but just they want the private sector to run the business. They would be monitoring over there. So that is where the whole, chunk of business going on. Plus, the chunk of the careers are also emerging out there. As we go on, I think there's a lot of we have the software people who are trying to do for US and European market. We have lots of role of Indians are also there who are actually contributing in the power distribution part in the Europe and over there, which I will try to explain those careers as we go on in this discussion over there. Okay. So this is
sure.
from my side. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Raju. So in a totality, what I was able to understand out of your response, India is going to be, one of the leaders, in the power sector in next 5 to 10 years. Is that what you are projecting here? Okay, perfect. Thanks. So now, from here onward, my next question goes to our in-house expert, Dr. Naveen. Keeping these trends in mind, what Dr. Gayatri mentioned and what Dr. Raju said, what do you think, Dr. Naveen, are the current challenges in the conventional power sector in India? And what are the 3 best strategies from an academics perspective to overcome these challenges?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Doshi. So if we talk about the challenges in the Indian power sector, I see there are many challenges. So like inadequate electricity generation, underutilization of installed capacity, or say the lower plant load factor, and we have the fuel security concerns also. But in my view, one of the major challenge in the Indian power sector is the poor performance of the power distribution companies. So total debt on DISCOMs, which is more than 1 lakh crore rupees. And there are many DISCOMs which are not even able to pay to the power generating companies for their power purchase. I found there are mainly 2 regions of this financial situation of the distribution companies. First is the high AT&C losses, so aggregate technical and commercial losses, which is currently in India, it is around between 20 to 25%. There are few states which have even more than 35% or 40% losses, but there are few states also which has lesser than 15% or 20%, like Delhi, where there are 3 DISCOMs, Tata Power, Delhi Distribution Limited, BYPL or BRPL, which has done a commendable job and reduced the losses. So in that case, can you think that a company, so if with that we are going with the 25% AT&C loss, so can you think that a company can run the business if they have to bear 25% loss on each unit sale of the electricity? It means when I say the 25% AT&C loss, it means we are feeding 1 rupee of electricity and we are getting 75 paise out of that. Why I'm saying and quoting this issue on the top or utmost priority in the area, as the DISCOM is the area which is recovering all the investment, whatever is happening in the overall power sector value chain, whether it is the investment happening in the generation, in the renewable energy, in the fuel, coal side, or any investment is happening in the power transmission. So this is the sector which is recovering all the investment.
Okay.
And it is not that government has not done any effort, or they have not made any efforts to reduce or change this scenario. In 2002, they came up with the APDRP scheme, Accelerated Power Development Reform Program. They came up with this scheme where they invested around 40,000 crore rupees. And the objective was to reduce AT&C losses to lesser than the 15% from their current level.
Okay.
But they did not get sufficient output. Then again in 2008, they came up with the new scheme, the restructured APDRP, and where they just changed their financing scheme, financial layout, and
Okay.
they invested more than 50,000 crore rupees in that.
Okay.
And after that,
yeah,
yes,
please
yes.
go on. Yeah, please go on.
So,
Perfect. I mean, nice. I mean, the data looks really nice. I mean, like, so like, if I ask you to, just as a layman, see, I'm not from a power management sector. So as a layman, if I ask you to, like, just tell me 3 best strategies in terms of layman language. So what those strategies would be from an academics perspective? Just 1, 2, 3.
okay. So right now, so first strategy can be that we have to bring the reforms in the distribution business model or distribution sector. So
Yeah.
which can bring the more and more players in the power distribution business.
Okay, perfect.
The second, which can be the more and more automation of the distribution operation, which will increase the accountability and the transparency in the sector, like SAP, billing automation, smart metering. So all that they can do in the distribution automation.
Yeah.
So right now, so these are the 2-3 active strategies which I could find out. I think that these can change the distribution scenario.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Naveen. We will come back to that. I mean, in maybe in a couple of minutes. So quickly, I mean, I would like to know, Dr. Gayatri, from you. I mean, on the similar note, what do you think would be the 3 or 2 maybe the best practices from the industry perspective to overcome these challenges? What Dr. Naveen has mentioned.
I would actually differ a little from what Dr. Naveen has said.
Mm-hmm.
It is the distribution sector has been our favorite whipping boy for many years, for many decades. When you say 25% AT&C losses, it is aggregated technical and commercial losses. Now, technical loss is about 2 to 3%, maximum 5%. I'm not an engineer, but even somebody with a liberal arts background like me knows that technical loss is not more than 5 to 6%, even on old infrastructure. But where is the 25% coming from? Most of it is commercial loss. If you're billing for somebody if you're selling somebody 100 units of electricity, you're not able to collect. Your collection efficiency is about 60 to 70% at the best for an average state-owned DISCOM. You look at this same thing in a distribution franchisee model, it goes up to 90 to 95%. Why does that happen? Because the mandate of the franchisee is to collect. His basic mandate is to improve collection efficiency. He is supplied power at the bus bar to his region and he supplies it at the given tariff. His mandate is to increase collection efficiency, which he does. Dande dikhata hai. Dande dikhate to paise bhi aate hain. Okay. And then you also look at the other privatized distribution companies. They are not making a loss. Their AT&C losses is about 10 to 12%. And when you look at these 10 to 12%, most of these losses come from areas where it is not possible for them to collect 100%. So if you look at, say, a place like Delhi, for instance, or Bombay, all Indian cities have large swaths of slums where you have a large BPL population whose tariff is subsidized. We have a system where we have a system of cross subsidies where commercial and industrial consumers pay for the BPL consumers to enjoy power at a subsidized rate. Now, A, this is not economically viable model, which is something our policymakers understand and are trying to address. B, this is not going to go on forever. If you look at states like Maharashtra, for instance, electricity is one of their highest inputs. which makes manufacturing in that state uneconomical. One reason why Maharashtra has been losing industries. And add to that, the DISCOM. In this case, I agree with you that the DISCOM needs to change its practice, is basically not allowing them to buy cheaper power elsewhere and providing them, they do not provide them distribution open access.
Okay.
Therefore, the surcharge that they pay to keep the DISCOM power as backup is so high, it doesn't make sense for them. Or आप net metering आप करोगे नहीं, you will not do net metering, which allows you to generate and use your own power. You don't want to do a feed-in tariff. So you have to look at all these regulatory anomalies, resolve them, and then start talking about making AT&C losses or making the distribution sector viable.
Okay.
This would be my response to you. And the other thing that we have to look at is power as a freebie.
Oh.
ये आपके 25%, ये जो आपका 25% AT&C loss होता है, इसमें majority जो होता है, it's like a black hole of accounting. Whatever loss you cannot contribute, you cannot, जिसको आप कोई नाम नहीं दे सकते, उसको आप इस bucket में डाल देते हैं, वो इस black hole में चला जाता है.
I think,
in fact, I remember.
I'm sorry, I mean,
sorry.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, you're fine.
So I'll just give you one example. When we were running the distribution utilities forum at Shakti, we tried to do a meeting, a focus meeting on cost of supply. No distribution company wanted to come and talk about their actual cost of supplying power. Today, the regulator gives you 10% additionally over the last ARR. That's how you survive. आपके distribution licensee area में, what is the population mix? What is the change in the mix? What is the increase in consumption? Nobody's looking at any of these things. And add to this, you have the EV revolution literally knocking on your door. I don't know what you're looking at. How is the industry going to respond?
Right. I mean, I somewhat I have heard about these things, in a couple of months, and I somewhat agree to what you said. And see what we are doing here, ladies and gentlemen. We know about the challenges in the power sector in India and as well as in abroad in the bigger umbrella. And now from there onwards, we have moved to what could be the best practices from the academics perspective as well as from the industry perspective, to overcome these challenges. Now from here onwards,
Dr. Joshi, if I could just interrupt and add one thing.
Yeah, please.
New amendments to the Electricity Act. There is one provision which talks about payment security for generators.
Oh, okay.
That could be a game changer for the entire industry in terms of ensuring that the generator gets paid.
Wow. Okay.
Now, you also saw that some weeks ago, some utilities got debarred from trading on the exchanges. So those are punitive measures.
Okay.
Intraday or trading on the exchanges is only 3 to 5%. It is just a signal of the government's intent, the regulator's intent, you thus far and no further. And I think it's time the distribution companies read the state governments especially read the writing on the wall and started pulling up their socks. Another statistic which might be of interest is that the year that 𝗬𝗲𝘀 scheme was implemented, the RBI's annual report said that the state government's debt from implementing that policy would stretch to as much as 5 to 6 years in just paying, in terms of just payback. This is in addition to all the other expenses that they have.
Oh, okay.
It's not an easy solution that we are looking at.
Right. I mean, I definitely agree with you. I mean, so there are so many things going on. I mean, especially power sector is a huge one. So from here onward, Dr. Raju, I would like to know from you, what are the emerging needs as far as the skills are concerned in the power sector in India and abroad, and what may be the potential programs that can fulfill current market needs?
Yeah, Dr. Joshi, there is one thing which of interest for these participants, and I think what distribution companies they're talking about. I think Naveen had mentioned that companies like Accenture and all, they recruit our students and all. What are they doing? Right. So I would like to answer that question that it's not that they do the software programming and all after they're recruited. which generally the engineers traditionally they think of it. So we have typical our alumni. He works for a distribution company. Let us be honest, in Europe, you have a competition, like, how you have mobile choice available. So you can choose your own distribution company also there. So our alumni is working in an Accenture. Traditionally, he does a modeling.
Okay.
He does a modeling and he gives various tariffs to their distribution company in some part of Europe. Say in Belgium, he's got one region which is there. Accenture works for that client over there and they give solutions. Practically, our students are there who give solutions, who give various tariffs, suggestions they give based on the past data and the consumption of the consumer, who's the end user over there, they give it. So typically, like there's also a competitor, he would be giving and all. So some of the students, I think they're asking, do I really work abroad? No, I don't know that question, but I would say that you would be working for a distribution company who's abroad, like our alumni who's doing it, where you give a solution out there, you do your modeling, the data which the client gives you, or the data which is there, and he chooses, he chooses which is the better discom, which distribution company I can take for mine, like a mobile service operator based on my consumption, how I take it. Okay, so that is a very interesting career which you can really take it up once you take this power management program.
Perfect.
So you would love that job, where you are going for a European client, you're working, sitting over here and giving solutions for that specific region which is there. So that is a fabulous career which our students are doing it while joining companies like Accenture and all, which Naveen had mentioned. Okay, that's the point which our whoever are there in the today's webinar should be taking note of that. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. We are taking a note of those things.
And they can work as a consultant, functional consultant in those companies like HCL. There are a number of people they are working for discoms and like regulatory commissions, like CRM, billing engines. So all that they are preparing.
I'm heading to now you, Dr. Naveen. Thanks for jumping in and just responding to the previous question. So we need more managers in the power sectors in India and abroad. So Dr. Naveen, I would like to hear from you how the programs at Center for Continuing Education, UPES, can help students and industry professionals to become leaders in the power sector as well as in their own areas of work.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Joshi. So here, first, I would like to talk about that how or what MBA power management from CC UPES is offering to the students, and to that they can reach at greater heights on leadership positions in the power sector. So first, this program consists all the subjects which provides managerial skills like finance, marketing, HR, strategy, research methods, so business research methods. So all these the functional areas. Other than that, there are courses which is specific to the power sector, like power sector economics, power pricing, power trading, regulatory, power station management. So all these courses basically train one to work in any area of the power sector. They can work in consulting, as what Dr. Bangaraju has discussed. They can work in the regulatory operation, utility operations, research, business development in the power sector. Also, they can work as an energy economist. There are courses like financing of energy sector projects, where students would be equipped, trained with the financial modeling of the power projects, and which I say the very important skill to work in the power sector, especially in the energy consulting and the project financing of the power projects. So the knowledge and skill one will get in the program, and he or she would be eligible to work for any position in the area of the power sector. So this is what the programs highlights and what the program offers, the power MBA power management from CC UPES.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Naveen.
I'd like to jump in and add a few other areas.
Please,
a few non-traditional areas. Specifically, what's opening up in India in view of the kind of things that our government has been speaking about is in areas like modeling, where NIRF is now leading the entire effort of creating a roadmap towards net zero. So there's a lot of demand over there. There's a lot of requirement for modeling, etc., for which I think the CCS, this particular course lays down, gives you a basic, good theoretical background,
Okay.
good theoretical underlay.
Okay. Thanks. I mean,
And-
Dr. Gayathri, yeah, please
And
go on.
also the other one that I would recommend to students is to look at think tanks. A lot of opportunities opening up there, a lot of opportunities in policy making, where we require people with young, supple minds, you know, people who are willing to think out of the box. People
Wow.
with gray hair
Thanks.
like me are not required anymore.
Okay. I mean, we can take it for now. So the thing is now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I need to just convey a few informations here at this point of time. We have around almost 85 attendees to this webinar, and thanks to you all for making this webinar really, you know, good success for all of us. Number one. Number two, we are recording this webinar, and this webinar will be available on YouTube as well as on Facebook, CC Facebook page. And the third thing that I would like to say, we are at 7:47 right now. And so last 10 minutes, we will take up questions from the participants, and we have all the questions, you know, compiled at one place. Do not worry, not even a single question will go here and there. So we will take care of that. And so quickly, Dr. Raju, I'm coming to you now. You know, very quickly, you know, I would like to have your comments on, like, you know, how online and distance learning management programs are advantageous over traditional courses especially for working industry professionals.
See, the first thing is, what is the purpose of this program? Why they would like to know? A working professional, somebody who's working in a power company, or he wants to shift to a power, career in power management, can take up this program without getting his regular job, which is disturbed over there. Otherwise, he needs to sacrifice, and there's a lot of opportunity cost if you would resign over there, and you have got already some liabilities at home, so maybe you could take up on. Now, the other thing, advantage what we have is technology. Like somebody who's doing a distance program from UPS, he can take a test even while traveling on a ship also. So our technology is that good, which we have been doing. Like even if you're while traveling on a ship, you can do this program. So you have that great state-of-the-art technology which we have got. Part number two is you have got all those, power management related faculty who are from practitioners converted into academic, this thing like me, who are available to you over there. And I think somebody is saying that I'm not even getting a guide over there. So there is a huge rush over there for the PhD programs also. So we have a huge rush over there. So that advantage which is there for the distance program from UPS, which is there. There are also other regular programs. I agree. Yes, you may feel that is there. Just look at the curriculum. I request this thing which Naveen is talking about. Look at the curriculum, where it's not that I'm trying to give specialization in the third or the fourth semester. Our specialization curriculum design where it starts on the day one also. So you are focused on that. And the biggest instrument which our working people are taking is your promotion. You are in a typical graduation and you are taken that. Your master's program in power management will give you a definitely accelerate your promotion to a manager. That is the biggest advantage you will get in the distance. So that is one, I think, main advantage which you will be having one if you do this program.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Raju. I mean, since why I asked this question to you, because, being an industry expert and in teaching in traditional as well as in both non-traditional courses, I mean, you I mean, could, do the full justice to this question. Now, again, I mean, I will come to Dr. Gayathri, who, as an alumnus of CCE, I mean, what are your takeaways? I mean, how did the program impact your professional career? Very quickly.
Yeah, so I'd like to say that I come from a liberal arts background, and I worked in the power sector for many, many years without a technical degree. And this kind of helped to give a technical underlay to what I already knew. I may not be able to tell you what is reactive power versus active power, but I know the functions of reactive power after this course. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
So that is where it is. But I'd say one thing to every student who takes this course. The theoretical underlay that you get here is really good. Don't knock it. Take your course seriously, study. you will definitely benefit from what you get here.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now, finally, our own in-house expert, Dr. Naveen. So very quickly, on power management and at CCE, what is your message to the current and prospective students? Very briefly.
So my message to all current and prospective students is that the power sector, which is in the transition phase, it has been discussed like in the panel discussion, like renewable energy, the sectors like renewable energy, electricity market, electric vehicles. So these are the emerging trends in the power sector. So all these areas which require managerial skills with knowledge specific to power sector, like regulatory, electricity trading, power pricing, we discussed. So there are ample of opportunities present, and more than that are coming in the future.
Okay.
So as an energy manager, you can lead in the transforming sector, and which can help in the growth of the country also. So keep your eyes and ear open and take out the most. You can take out the most from the program. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks,
That's
Dr.
all.
Naveen. And this is the time, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost towards, the end of the discussion. And now we are going to open the forum for a discussion. And we have so many questions, and we appreciate you all and thank you all for putting up all these important and good questions here. So I start taking up some of the questions. I think, that question is somewhat already answered in the discussions in the last round of the discussion. That question was, what is the differentiator of this course over other similar courses? I think that Dr. Naveen and Dr. Raju and somewhat Dr. Gayatri has also just pondered upon. So the second part of that question was, why should I select this course over other similar courses? So very quickly in one or two sentences, maybe, any one of you, Dr. Naveen, Dr. Raju, if you would like to respond to that.
Yeah, my answer would be, why would you not choose the program from UPS?
Oh, wow.
What is that we are talking, in what way we are talking that there is somebody else offering a similar program? I don't know. But what is it that is stopping you from not taking this program that should be, I think, my query on that. Specifically on that part.
I mean, yeah, that's really, perfect. So anything, Dr. Gayatri, you were saying something?
I would just add to what Dr. Raju said, that it's a specialized university for energy systems, so why not? Why would you want to go anywhere else? One of the reasons I came was that.
Suresh, I think I will add one thing. I think most of our alumni in distance program is from Middle East.
Yeah,
I hope you got it. I mean, people from the other continent are coming and they're studying this program. Wow. And let us be honest, if Naveen could give more data on that, that would be more surprising.
Yeah, definitely. We have that data. I mean,
most our expatriates are really great in number who pursue this program. So it is that much in demand, for that.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing it here, Dr. Raju. I mean, because I did not want to just put up those things here, because as being a deputy director of the course of the program of the center, I mean, I thought, it would sound like I'm just trying to sell something. That's what I just wanted to have your opinion on those things. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge number of participants and huge number of students from Middle East and from here and there, where the energy and petroleum sectors are growing right now. So definitely that makes this particular program at UPES a one-stop selection. Anyhow, we can proceed further to the next question. There is a question from Rohit. He said that I'm pursuing MBA power management and like to work abroad. What are the opportunities and how I can approach and start working from now? Dr. Naveen, if you would like to respond to that question.
So here I would like to say that in India, out of the India, the opportunities in the power sector, like the electricity market of, if you talk about in the Nord Pool or California state electricity market or NYSO, New York interstate operator. So in all these markets, one who gets the knowledge about the power sector or the electricity market, they are perfectly fine. They are eligible to work in the out of India or any kind of electricity market out of the country. Even I know some of my friends, they are working with the the companies who are working in the, working with the US electricity market. As also what Dr. Raju has mentioned, that the companies like Accenture and Infosys and the companies like even the Deloitte, so they all need the people who have idea about the power management, power sector, and they can provide the consulting services in India and as well as abroad.
Yeah,
so that's
thanks,
all.
Dr. Naveen.
Joshi, I'll add on to
Please,
that.
yeah, please go ahead.
There
Yes,
are
sir.
two ways which you could do. You could finish your MBA power management over here. You continue with your experience, and there are recruiters who come and they take it from there. Otherwise, the second route is what we spoke about, what Naveen is saying. Join in a good consultancy firm. The client would need you to come over there. So a lot of our alumni have gone to the client over there, like the other software companies who go to the US and all. The client needs there, so you could be transferred over there for a period of 3-4 years or whatever, you know. So you can go and work in Europe. Our alumni is working on that. So both these methods, work in the domestic company, go for through a recruiting agency or somebody who's there, you apply over there and you can go. Or the same Accenture or whatever PwC and all, they will be, if you're really good, client needs you badly, you'll be going over there.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Raju and Dr. Naveen both. And so here I can add just a quick comment to this question, Rohit. You can get in touch with one of our counselors, admission counselors and all. So they can help you there. How you can start working on these things from now onward. So now there are some couple of more questions we have. Let us say, for example, regarding the renewable energy in India. So there is a question: what are the main obstacles to renewable energy in India? I think this sounds like a kind of general question. If one of our panelists can make a quick comment on this, just very quickly, I would appreciate that.
I think Gayatri is the right person to answer this
I was thinking
on a policy matters and all.
Gayatri, are you there?
But Gayatri would take another 3 to 4 hours on answering the whole issue. I got it.
No, you can't answer the whole issue even in that much time.
Just very quickly, because we are running out of time, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly. And we see so many questions.
One of the biggest issues that we face is the readiness of the grid.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So what has happened recently is that CRC introduced general access rules, general network access rules, GNA for short, which says that earlier you used to have to buy pipeline capacity. So if you are a generator and you have a PPA with a DISCOM or a user, you sold a certain capacity and you bought that much on the pipeline. Now what the GNA does is the power flows freely and you draw as much as you want. At the end of the month or the end of the contract period, you get billed for it. So there is no pipeline capacity required anymore. To me, that is one of the major challenges in the growth of renewable energy, scheduling. And now that is getting taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
The other one is what we spoke about earlier, which is the payment issue.
Yeah.
So I think these two things should see a lot of changes coming around in the RE sector.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for your response to this question. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many questions in the chat box. And if we could provide, Ankita, if you could provide some email ID over there so that, we can respond to those questions or they can write directly to us, that would be great. And because now the time is running pretty fast. And here at this point of time, I would like to thank each and everyone, ladies and gentlemen, all the panelists here. And almost we have come to an end of today's webinar. I did take this opportunity to thank our speakers, Dr. Gayatri, Dr. Raju, and Dr. Naveen. And I also thank Dr. Priya Mathew, our director, and the support team from 𝗬𝗍, a global edtech brand that provides industry-powered global education, for bringing this whole event to you live. And last but not the least, I thank you all for taking out time and actively listening to our experts. And hope to see you all of you, at CCE, UPS in the coming future. And for curriculum details also, you can write to us directly and we will respond very quickly. And thank you so much. Bye-bye and have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Thank you, Dr. Naveen.
So
thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Dr. Raju. Thank you, Dr. Joshi.
Thank you, Dr. Gayatri.
Have a good
Sure.
night. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I appreciate
Thank
your
you,
time.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thanks.
joining.
Yeah.
Thank you.